Hey everyone, welcome back to this channel once again. So in this video we're gonna discuss about drawing. Okay, drawing not in a literal sense, okay, but like I feel like this is something like a mental model for me. So this is going to be one of my favorite videos, okay, because like a lot of people ask me, okay, how do I do this, right, and what is the reason behind everything, right? So for example, this is one of the example, right? Just check it out. Okay, so it says chaos and orders, right? So this is one of the like way like I don't know, like I've taken this if taken a note of this. So what this explains is these are ideas, okay, and these are system, right? So if ideas are here, like if you get ideas, okay, to try to make it a system, okay, this is the process, this is how the process look like, okay. So like unless you make your ideas, or whatever you get, okay, why if you're not making it a system, okay, so it's very hard to implement them, right? So your foundation is not there. So this way, a startup or anything, whenever you're working, right, you get a lot of ideas to implement, but unless you are making it a system, so that there's this autopilot thing, like, so every day these things are happening. So unless you make it a system, like the ideas are waste, that is not worth it, right? So the point here is like the why I did design this, this is something, that I was trying to understand, like whenever people get a lot of ideas in their mind, so what they do, what they do, right? So what's the next step, right? So this is one of the example, right? So chaos and order. So this is on my Instagram highlight, you can go check it out. It's called TND, think and draw. So like similarly, like I have a lot of like mental models here. So this is one of the way I think, there is one of the way I try to decode the world, right? So I understand like this might sound very, very, very fancy, but this is not fancy, okay? This is my way of dealing with the dealing with complexities, right? So the first day I came up with this, like it's like I was so why do I draw this? So like I guess this is for the for explanation. Say for example, there's something in my mind, okay, I observe some sort of patterns, right? This is how these things work. So I try to quickly visualize it, draw it on the paper, so that I can explain it to the team. I can tell them, like this is something how this thing work, and this is how we are going to leverage this, right? So it's like it's like so these drawings are some sort of like mental models for me, like maybe in the future I'm going to add this on my book, right? So this is something I have been working for a long time. I have a lot of like ideas here. So like this is something, this recent one I did, okay. So not this one, the like previous one, okay. So let me just share about this. So it's simply explains, right? So you are the person here, okay, and you take care of the limits, right? So like so the what I'm trying to explain here is like, so you can increase your limits and bandwidth, okay, by doing what's in your control. So a lot of time, we chase a lot of things, right? So we forget what's in our control, right? So we waste a lot of time thinking what's not in our control. So it's very important to do things in your control, okay. Take charge of it, do the best you can, okay, and do it for a long time, right? So eventually your limit, that thing increases, so your control, the things that control increases over time, so that is how you build your foundation. So you eventually everything changes, and here you can see your limit has been increased, and you have more things in control versus here when you had very less thing in your control, okay. So this is one of the like mental model. So I named it increasing limits by doing things in your control, right? So if you try to observe this now, so like you will face this in a lot of you will learn this from a lot of people. You will see explaining them. They will explain this by themselves. They will say always try to focus on things that in your control. Do it for a long time, and eventually you will see results and everything. So this is how it works, right? So in the last what it explains is, right, let me just tell you, okay. So do things in your control, okay. Build a social foundation, build a social network of your instruments. So instrument essentially means all the things that you have. Okay, so for example, let me give you simple examples here. Okay, so this video that I'm shooting here, okay. So now if I think that I don't have camera, right, I don't have maybe like proper lighting, right, or I don't have a studio, I don't have mic and everything. So like it is my waste of time, right? So I'm just like trying to be restless and nothing I can do, right? So currently I'm just trying to do what's in my control. That is why you can see, like, I'm just trying to focus on the content, because I know you are watching this video just for the content, right? You are watching this video so that you can learn something, right? Instead of all this like aesthetic and everything. I know this thing is important, but that will come very later in my channel at least, okay. So this is why this is the simple way to explain the first initial part, this one, okay, where I'm doing things that are in my control, where like I'm trying to do what I can do, right? So without having to think what's not in my control, right? A lot of people are doing that. So let's not think about that. and focus on what's on my control. I hope you're able to understand what I'm trying to say, right? So this is one of my way of dealing with the things, right? So I hope this mental model stays with you and you take it forward, right? Always try to focus on things that you know control, okay? And whatever you have in your control, try to leverage each one of them very very well, right? So once you build a huge connection, so you can see eventually things changes, right? Eventually the world comes to you, right? Because your foundation gets better, right? So this is what the left side of it, and what I wrote on the right side is like what's your state of mind, right? So you are in zen, okay, because you are in peace, right? Because you're taking care of things in your control. That's it. And you make concise decisions because you don't have to worry what's not in your control, isn't it? Now you're thinking about only the things that are in your control, right? And you can make the best use of it, okay? And the third point is that you are stress free, okay, stressless, okay, about things not in your control, okay, obviously, and better decision making, right? So I hope this thing really explains what I have drawn here. Okay, so see again, it was very easy for me to explain you, right? Rather than just giving you hypothesis and everything, right? So it's very better. So I can draw something and tell you, right? So now I have better conviction to give an example, right? So this is one of the examples of mental model here. So there's one more, humanizing brands. So I told you about one of the recent one on the Fueler and the internet, right? So it explains this mental model that it explains the situation currently on the internet, so there are a lot of people who know about Fueler but they're not our users, right? So they're not using Fueler but they know about Fueler, right? So I'm just trying to explain the thing to the team, right? So I tried to draw the whole thing, a big circle, right? Then it has like small islands, right? And each island represents different social media platforms, right? LinkedIn, Twitter, Medium, and it's then the size of the island represents the quantity of people know from each platform, right? So that is something like I explained. I have drawn on the paper, right? So that I can put this on the meeting and tell the team this is the present condition of our brand awareness on the market on the internet, right? So let's go and find out more ways to increase it, right? So that is how we take our decisions, right? So there's one more interesting one. It's called humanizing brands, okay? So I have named this brand date, right? So there's this term this is something I myself have named it, so it's called brand date. So we usually go with people for date, right? So similarly happens for a brand, okay? So for example, what usually happens is whenever you come across a new brand, okay, and you get to know about them, it's called brand date. So that is the first time, okay? And what happens next is whenever you get to see them again, okay, someone else start talking about it, so again it creates much more impact in your mind, so it's there's a small dent in your brain, so the dent eventually gets bigger and bigger and bigger, right? So I try to explain this phenomena here, right? So here the dent is very small, then it gets bigger, okay? Also it has a circle around it, right? So it explains the influence that product has in you, right? So eventually you can see the next step is how the influence increases, right? And how you get into that zone, okay, where you are much more into the product, where and this is where you are fully occupied with the product itself. And this is, for example, the simple example here is Spotify, okay? Not just Spotify, a lot of example. I can give an example on your mobile, okay, this laptop, a MacBook, Apple, whatever, everything has worked this way, right? So you must have heard it from someone, okay, then eventually it made an impact in your mind, okay, then eventually you got more influenced by it, okay, and you were I have to get it, right? So someday you have got it, isn't it? So the reason I took Spotify is very simple, because a lot of people, they have heard of Spotify, okay, but they haven't used it, okay, because especially from India, right? Because it was not available in India, right? So you had to use VPN or other method to use Spotify. But once it was in India, a lot of people adopted it. So the point I'm trying to explain here is through this mental model is brand date, okay, and obviously how brand they humanize themselves so that they're easy to get into the lives of the people. So the way I see it here is the way I see it here is the equation, right? So each and every product that is in our life, it's about equation, right? So say for example x plus y equal to z, right? So when a product comes to your equation, say for example x plus y plus your product equal to z square. So that square is the x factor that creates that has been created by a product, right? That is the purpose of a product in your life, right? So like that is how we see product. That is how we have been building Fueler. Okay, because all of this principle, all of this principle that we have learned throughout the year, and this is something we are trying to implement at Fueler so that we can give you the best experience whenever you are learning about us. This is everything about this video. I hope this video has been useful for us. I share this pictures, I click them and I put it on my IG. Please go follow me on IG, Instagram. Okay, it's there. It's there on my highlight, think and draw TND. Okay, you will find a lot of mental models there. I have drawn. I don't know, like, should I call it mental model or not? That is again very fancy. I have a lot of them. Okay, once I am going to put this on my newsletter as well. So if you're not subscribed yet, please go check it out. It's called the Hustle Book. So it's going to be very amazing because I have a lot of amazing things to put it up on there. Okay, so yeah, this is everything about this video. I hope this video is useful for you. You enjoyed watching this, and obviously I hope that you have learned something new from here. Okay, so if you are someone who love drawing and stuff, please let me know. Like, share with me, DM me on Twitter or any place, right? So yeah, I'll see you again. Bye bye.